I think these debates are going to be very important to the voters here, because even though in New Hampshire the electorate is pretty engaged, a lot of people don't pay close attention until the last week or so of the period before the primary. So there'll be a lot of people tuning in now who maybe didn't tune in back in June when we hosted a debate. The composition of the candidates is going to change a little bit. So presumably we'll have a little more time in these debates to get more complete answers from the candidates who are remaining in the field. So yeah, I think people will be watching, and they'll be watching closely. And the debates are an important part of the process here, along with the retail politics, going out and meeting the voters. I think that will happen as well. So we'll see in the next week. It's going to be a somewhat chaotic time. It's going to be maybe a little bit hectic, but all of the candidates will be trying to get out and reach as many people as possible. New Hampshire voters, like a lot of other voters, tend to wait to decide, and they really want to hear the case that the candidates make before they make their decision, before they decide for whom to vote. So, I mean, one possibility is that it will get pretty negative here in New Hampshire, and we've seen ads for a while, but I imagine we're going to see a lot more. We'll see a lot of these ads from the super PACs that are not technically affiliated with any campaign, and yet they do tend to support one campaign or another, one candidate or another. It's interesting with the three leading candidates coming out of Iowa, Ron Paul and Mitt Romney and Rick Santorum. You have three very different foreign policy positions. Especially if you look at Santorum, who's been rather aggressive in his language, and he's talked about standing up to Iran and China. He promotes this rather muscular American foreign policy and real strong engagement in the world. And then you have Ron Paul, who is sort of a neo-isolationist. I mean, he wants to cut down America's obligations abroad. He wants to cut down on foreign aid. The two couldn't be any different in terms of foreign policy, and yet they both have come out of Iowa rather strong. So I think that shows a few things. One, it shows that foreign policy isn't driving the discussion. It's not really the dominant issue. But it also shows that there is a bit of a gap, not just in the Republican Party, but nationally, about foreign policy. There are growing calls for the United States to cut down on its foreign activities. At the same time, there are people who believe that the United States can't back down from its role as a global leader. So I don't think the American public is unanimous on this. I think there is still a question about what America's role is in the world in the 21st century.